Big news, eh? Need to do a separate video on it.
Kelvin has lost his way.
But at least I dare to show my face. So that's one thing. If you don't dare, then I think there's nothing much to talk about already lah. Because one is about courage, one is about coward lah.
Welcome back to episode 12 of the Backholder Pod. So today it's the usual guests, me, Eric, Bunti, and Kelvin. So I think today, just to give a brief rundown on the episode itself, because some of the major topics that we're going to discuss in this episode, I think 4 broad topics. Firstly, we will opine or comment a little bit because in Singapore, recently the government has increased GST to 8%, and subsequently, it will be 9% in 2024. Then on the second topic, I think recently there's this trending article where a girl posted a TikTok saying that an $80 Charles & Keith bag was actually a luxury product, and there was a huge hoo-ha behind it. So we'll be providing our opinions on that. Topic number 3, of course, there's recently in the market, even though the S&P 500 is basically flat, but Chinese stocks, they've been on a huge rally. I think many of them are up like 50 to 80% in the last 1 or 2 months or so. And I think last but not least, just to kickstart the year, we will each talk a little bit about our own portfolio, and maybe just throw out a suggestion on maybe a stock that we are going to remove from our portfolio, and also one specific stock that we want to include into our portfolio in 2023. So I think just to kickstart the entire discussion, on the first point about this entire recent GST hike, just want to get Kelvin's opinion on it, especially when we are in a high inflation environment as well. How is Singapore like that?
Wow, I think the other day I went down to buy Cai Fan. It went up by 10%. What the hell? So I think like this 1% GST, then all the other shopkeepers are using the opportunity to raise price even higher. So I personally feel that this GST, right, should have been like immediately raised 2%. Like if you raise 1% now, then you raise 1% next year, the shopkeepers are going to raise their price by another 10% again.
Yeah.
So it's like one time pain is better than 2-time pain. So I think we have to just live with it. But at least the good news is all the savings account interest rates have went up. So I guess make use of that. I don't think it will last for long. By next year, it will be down already.
Down as in what? Your Cai Fan price or the savings account interest rate?
Cai Fan will never go down, man. Speaking first time.
First time indeed.
Yeah, it's the savings account down. Cai Fan, I've never seen Cai Fan down before.
Never.
What about Eric? The whole idea behind this GST hiking, does it affect your life or any big purchases coming?
No, it doesn't really affect my life. But like Kelvin, right? This morning, after sending my son to school, I want to buy the fried bihun, right? Then I go to the store, I was queuing. Then when I got to the front of the store, right, I saw the price. It went from $3 to $3.50. Then I'm like, walao. Then I just walk off. All the things are. But when I raise my prices, then people will be like, "Rrr."
But it's necessary, right? Because I think cost pressures come from everywhere, right? Especially when you are in the, like, I would call it commodities business. I think all their raw materials, like your bihun, your whatever, your eggs, all increase in price. So they both also need to increase. If not, their margins get squeezed. Yeah, but then what about Bunti?
I don't know that I don't pay so much attention to all this spending. To me, it's like when I go and buy
too little for you lah.
When I'm buying, let's say Cai Fan, right? To me, it's like this is the lowest that I can go already. It's not like, let's say if I go dine in at, let's say $30,
you can eat bread
restaurant.
Can bring bread to office.
Yeah, later I will share about that. So let's say if I'm spending on $30, I can cut down to, let's say, $5-6 and spend on Cai Fan, right? I think Cai Fan, if I try to spend as much, also it won't be more than, let's say, like $6. To me, $5-6 is still affordable for me. So I don't pay too much attention on that. But my way of trying to cut down further is not to even get cheaper Cai Fan, but it's like just instead don't eat. So I go fasting. Like quite frequently. For example, just yesterday, I didn't have my dinner. So save time, save money. So you guys can try it out. And I think you guys will like it after you try
it. I think that's bad advice though. To ask you to save money by fasting.
Yes. Not save money for fasting. No, it's like it achieves both goals, like you save time and save money at the same time. And it is healthy also. So many people don't know this. So fasting is a good way to stay healthy, stay fit.
I think for the younger generation, just cut down on the pao cha already good enough already. Take out the sugar and then you save like $5-6. Nowadays the pao cha actually quite pricey, the especially the branded ones.
And also, just a quick plug, just to help you defray your expenses as well. Currently, Momo is running a lot of crazy sign-up campaigns. So we have an affiliate link down below. And if you actually use our affiliate link, you can roll a wheel of fortune and get a free stock. And I think it's at least a good 30 to 100 US dollars if you guys are lucky to get an Apple stock. So that's that. So yeah, do feel free to check it out. I think to pivot over to the next point, right? Because we are currently talking about like cost of living and standard of living and stuff like that. I will quickly share my screen. So I think this article actually went onto the headlines. It's essentially a TikTok that went viral. Essentially a youth was on the left hand side. It's the first TikTok where she was saying that she got a gift from her dad. And it's basically a Charles & Keith bag that's worth $80, and she called it a luxury item. And I think the comments were extremely distasteful and quite insensitive. And then she made a response video to it. So I think I'll just quickly show the TikTok video just for some context for those of you who don't. So yeah, essentially she unboxed the bag, and then one of the top comments, if I'm not wrong, was somebody need to tell her or something like that. And then she responded with this, oh yeah, who's gonna tell her? And then she responded with this TikTok.
Money is the topic that makes me most uncomfortable to talk about. And that is because growing up, I did not have a lot. My family didn't have a lot. We couldn't. Buying things as simple as bread from Bread Talk was such an occasional thing. That kind of thing was such a luxury to us when we first moved to Singapore. Every time we passed by a store, my parents would just say next time, but next time would never come. Your comment spoke volumes on how ignorant you seem because of your wealth. To you, an $80 bag may not be a luxury. For me and my family, it is a lot. And I am so grateful that my dad was able to get me one. He worked so hard for that money. I can't believe I got hate over a bag that I was so excited to have.
That's the end of the TikTok. I think I just wanted to get Bunti's comment first. What's your thoughts on the two TikTok and the entire TikTok community?
I'll say first thing, Charles & Keith, actually how luxury it is or how premium it is, I also have no idea. so I think like I can't comment on like is she technically wrong or right when calling it luxury or not. That's not, I can't comment on that because I also don't know. But I just want to say for TikTok, I heard that this is a very toxic platform if you go and read all the comments. But for all of us, four of us here, this is nothing new, right? We also get all kinds of first time. Definitely not the first time. We try to add values and providing useful information, and yet we also get all these toxic comments. So I think it's that if you go public and this is the thing that you get now. So I think very hard to avoid now. It's just that for people who become like keyboard warriors and keep on shooting people, I think just need to remember that there's actually a person. That's a real person, you are not commenting on an object, so try to avoid that, causing a lot of painful experience for others. Not nice.
What about Kelvin?
Wow, I got a lot of comments. I
What-
think first thing is
Okay.
she's quite smart to upload this in terms of monetization stuff, like I know TikTok monetization is not good, but if she uploaded to YouTube, right, she will easily earn like $100+ over these 2 videos already. It will more than pay for the bag right there. But to me, I also don't know Charles and Keith is luxury or not. This one I have no idea. To me, like anything more expensive than the 10-cent donkey bag is plastic bag is already luxury already. But personally, I don't really spend on luxury. I think the last time I spent on luxury stuff was maybe just Cai Fan with fish lor. But more expensive than that is maybe the PlayStation that I bought a while ago. Not a while ago, like 10 over years ago. So
10 over years ago. But it's more expensive than the bag, right? I know PS usually is in the hundreds,
yeah, but
right?
that was my holiday money. So I
Right.
didn't know how to spend it back, how to save money back then. But that thing aside, right, I think branded bags, if you actually know how to use it, right, you can actually extract value from luxury items, even for Charles and Keith. So for example, right, okay, let's say right now I'm just wearing this Fitbit watch, but got color one. Got alarm one. But if you are wearing something like maybe Patek Philippe, right, the feeling that it gives you is much more shock compared to Fitbit watch. And this shock, right, is not just for on self shock purpose, right? It's also for your reputation and your personal branding purpose. So imagine if you are CEO, right, or you go for interview, you are wearing a Fitbit watch versus a Patek Philippe watch, the interviewer will look at you very differently. And also the confidence boost that it gives you is very different. So for that girl, right, if you are using a Charles and Keith bag versus I'm using a donkey plastic bag, the feeling will be very different.
I honestly don't know what's a donkey plastic bag. Okay, do you have like a picture or something?
You don't know?
What's a donkey bag? I don't get it.
You know, you go to the Downtown Donkey.
Oh, the
yellow
free
color.
one.
No, it's not free. It's 10 cents.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, to me it's luxury already.
Okay.
Paying 10 cents for a plastic bag.
Then why not use NTUC or the recyclable one?
But I go shopping at Donkey
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I think having a bag, even for Charles and Keith, that gives you a confidence booster. And if you go any higher than that, it will actually attract people towards you instead of a way.
Yeah.
Because people will perceive you to have a higher status in life.
Don't you think that this is a bit like seeking for external validation? Because
it's not only that, like for example, right? Let's say if you look at like CEOs, CEOs who wear suit, right, look more smarter compared to CEO who wear just polo t-shirt. And I've also received this kind of comment on my YouTube before. They will say like, oh, Kevin, you have to upgrade your image. You can say that this is a fake thing, right? But actually people perceive each other through this kind of the things that they can see from the outside. So if my hair is messy, then I comb it up, you can say that it's fake. But actually it gives people a better impression of you. So even for that Charles and Keith bag, $80, maybe the value that it can give you is higher than $80 already.
But I don't think this is the same thing, For example, let's say if you try to date a lady, you show out as like someone who is presentable, like for example, or let's say on a more formal setup, you say you wear suit instead of wearing t-shirt to go for an interview. I think that one is just like showing respect to each other. So that's you have to wear appropriately for the occasion. But coming to the luxury, for example, like whether you wear a Patek Philippe or some other watch, right? This one is really like to show off that you are at a luxury level to impress people. I don't think impressing someone versus like wear appropriately is the same thing, One is just to show that you are serious. Another one is to show you are rich, It's different.
But I do agree on Kelvin's point that it's very superficial, but it naturally gives you a confidence boost. And although we know that we shouldn't want to seek validation externally, like we should all be confident of our own competencies and our skill set and whatnot, but it's still a very superficial world, and we are still in this we have to play by the rules. That's I have to say. That's all I have to say. But yeah, I want to take on Eric's point of view. Eric haven't commented on this yet.
Okay. When I saw those two videos, right, the first thing I thought was like, maybe this creator, she's a little bit too sensitive. She said she got hate lah. I don't see how that comment is hate lah. Maybe just a troll lah.
Were you the one that commented?
No,
You're
it's
trying to
not.
defend the comment,
No
right?
lah, you think I'm so boliao, right? No lah. Then so anyway, the person just say who is gonna tell her, like a bit like snarky remark lah, but not really hateful. You know, if you want to see hateful remarks, right?
Go to
just
Kelvin's
go to Kelvin's
the comment section.
YouTube channel. You have your feel of it. Okay, but anyway.
Sorry, I think it's Hardware Zone, not his channel. His channel is
Hardware
still
Zone.
okay. Yeah, Hardware Zone.
Okay, then go Hardware Zone and have a look. Just search for Kelvin Tan. I think should be quite fun to read. But yeah, so anyway, I thought she is a little bit sensitive, and on top of that, right, the first video didn't give her the context, her background. Then you can't really blame others for like jumping to conclusion, like saying, hey, how come this girl doesn't know what is luxury? So Bunti was asking me yesterday, what is luxury, right? How do you define luxury? I think luxury to me is like a very, if I can put it in a very simple terms, it means that majority of people, maybe 95% of people, they cannot afford it like regularly. So that to me is considered luxury, like the Philippe Patek and things like that. Yeah, and probably some people even think that what you call that, Porsche, Maserati, those kind of cars are luxury. Yeah, so you can have those kind of definitions. Those to me, I think people on the street will consider them luxury. So if you say Charles and Keith $80 bag, people will be like, this is just normal bag, like why she claim it as luxury? So I see where the commenters are coming from. Not necessary. I didn't read through all the comments, so maybe she was referring to some other comments. But the particular one that she showed, I think it was pretty alright only, not like super hate lah.
So I think just some of my own perspective on this topic, right? I think so I've been on social media for quite some time as well, like Kelvin, right? When we are in the space itself, I think we can be a little bit skeptical. So actually my first thought when I saw this whole thing was she went under the headlines, she created a TikTok, and it went like really, really viral. So her first video got like 5.7 million impressions.
Wow.
Then the second video, which is the comment to the hate comment, is a 1.2 million. So she actually built onto that flywheel to churn the whole thing, right? So that was also my first thought when I saw the headlines, by the way. So I didn't see the video. I'm not very active on TikTok because I'm long meta, so I'm not active on Facebook. But anyway, I think just my perspective on that. When I first saw the video, like the first one, the 5.7 million views TikTok, right? I think I can feel that she looks genuinely happy. Like I don't know why. Maybe I'm younger, I can relate. So no generation gap, right? So when I saw a reaction and expression, I thought she was genuinely happy. Then when I saw the second TikTok, it also looks like she's genuinely disturbed. So I'm not professing that I'm a psychologist or I can look at people's expression, but it's just that a human connection thing. I just thought that I was moved in a way. So probably why this whole algorithm pick up the whole thing and it gotten so many views, so many comments, so many empathy and stuff like that. But I think just my general comments is I looked at her bio. She said that I'm in fact 17. So she's at a pre-tender age. She probably hasn't experienced the wrath of society yet. I mean, by wrath, like all these nonsense comments. I mean, yeah, so that's why I'll give her the benefit of doubt that it's really her first time. I scroll through her bio. She didn't post like, she's not okay lah. She posted quite a lot, but it's not like to the extent of like me and Kelvin lah. But anyway, I would just say that it's a journey. Everybody has to go through that journey from nothing, and then she worked her way up. She put in the effort. She tried to convert time or her skill set into money, and then try to upgrade her lifestyle and stuff like that. So whether she comes from a humble background or not, I think like I'll just share similar sentiments to Bunti that all of us should just be nicer. Everybody has something that we're all insecure about. So there's no need to point out how ugly I look on my comments also. It doesn't, to me now, it's rather like I'm not as sensitive to it, but I just felt that we can't blame the toxicity. So as creators or upcoming creators that's watching this video, for those of you who run your own YouTube channel or TikTok channel, just block it out and just be immune to it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But I just felt that the two videos were quite genuine. That's about it.
But the first video was like viewed 5.7 million times.
times. Yes. But she probably don't know that the video is gonna go viral though. So that was her first viral video. I look back, right? Her other videos are in the 10,000, less than 10,000 kind of views. So
But
this
what's
video really
the
blew up.
reason why it went so viral? Like, what's the
People can, I mean, at least in social media, it's the shareability, right? Like people can share and say that, oh, look at this and stuff like that. I guess so. I don't know how TikTok algorithm works, lah. But yeah.
I should try to unbox the Charles and Keith.
I think so. So you see, I don't think it works on you because the stars have to collide. So has to be like it's like a gift that the storyline, you need a storyboard, right? It's a gift, and then you're young, and then this is your first gift and stuff like that. Your face I don't think can make the cut.
Okay, sometimes people say I look 20, sometimes people say I look 18.
No lah, I just mean that like there's a collision of factors lah that made the video viral. So if it's a different actor today, like if it's a different person, different subject, then maybe the video wouldn't go viral. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to ask my son.
Can. Any comments from Kelvin or Bunti before we wrap up?
I just add on one more thing as a long time guy
Getting hit
with
on
hater
internet.
fan base.
Yes.
Let me share a screen.
Is it EDMW? Oh, I thought
No, it's
I thought you were
not.
gonna show us.
来了。
Yeah, so this guy is from Game of Thrones lah, that dwarf guy. He just say that like don't forget what you are. If you just wear your weakness with pride, right? People will never be able to hurt you lah. So as someone who has a hater fan base on Heartland Zone, I have a lot of people calling me names lah, like this Kelvin guy, this Malaysian guy, they come to Singapore to steal our jobs. This guy who lost money on Tesla. I think, but at least I dare to show my face. So that's one thing. If you don't dare, then I think there's nothing much to talk about already lah, because one is about courage, one is about coward lah. Same for the girl, right? That's her specialty, right? She comes from a poor family. So why not just try to monetize it instead of getting disturbed by this whole comments thing lah. Same for that. I know a while ago there was this Lisa adulting in Singapore. So I think she lost her father. She had to buy HDB at 24 years old. If you look at a different perspective, right, she's actually quite poor, but she didn't use it to let people step on her lah, but rather she used it to monetize her weakness. So I think just be smart about it lah. There are two different sides to how you want to react to different stuff lah. So that's what I'm saying.
I think also one thing when our channel also started growing in size and when we get more and more guests on, our comments also naturally started tending towards the more toxic side. So I for those of you who realize that your comments are gone, it's probably done by me. So for myself, I wouldn't hesitate if it's not a productive comment. So if it's constructive in nature, I think I'll be more than happy to take into account. And like if you guys actually watch through the entire video until now, the first part where we talk about like having a summary of what we're going to talk about, that's actually from one of the comments. I will screen grab it here. So if you guys have things for us to improve on, as human beings, we will want to improve. But if it's all about, this three or these four idiots or what, don't know, lose money in the stock market and then still there to come out and talk shit and stuff like that, I'm going to delete all those comments, man, because it doesn't help anything. So yeah, that's just some background context. I think then, right, so now we talk about personal finance and economy and wise, right? So now let's go back to the stock market, because I know a lot of you are stock market addicts. So just some update recently, like you saw my background picture, right? I think the China Dragon was unleashed. So this is also in light of the Chinese New Year that's gonna come in 2 weeks time. So I wish everybody an early Chinese New Year first. Get more ang paos so that you can burn it in Tesla. No, I mean burn it in the stock market. But anyway,
how do we get ang paos, man?
Oh right,
we only lose ang paos.
oh snap, I forgotten. But no, but you all got kids, so your kids can recoup back.
One
right?
only.
Oh, Then, but anyway, I think back to the basket of Chinese stocks, right? So based on a lot of recent, a lot of hype around Chinese stocks, I think sentiments are back again. So even big names like Alibaba, Tencent, JD, Pinduoduo, all of them are up like at least 50 to 80% in the last 2 months or so. So I think this is a great discussion. I think for disclaimer, I'm currently 90% in China. I think Bunti has a small exposure in China. Then for Eric and Kelvin, they are not in China. As in their portfolio don't really have China exposure. So, but before I comment, I'll leave my comments to the last. I'll pass the time over to Eric. I think Eric has a few insightful graphs to show.
Before I share this, please don't think too much. This is a inverted head and shoulders. Okay, so I know that my drawing is not the best in the world. So basically, you can see the very steep plunge down. And usually, if you do a little bit of TA before, right, you will heard of this term, head and shoulders. That's for like a bearish kind of development when the stock is going up. And then there's this inverted head and shoulders, which is bullish chart formation. Okay, so this chart, I think, is a weekly chart. You can see that the left shoulder, I think, left shoulder, it has been formed already. And then the head, right? I think this plunge was due to the Congress, the party, don't know what thing, party Congress, right? Yeah, then there was this panic selling. So it formed the head, which I would think is the capitulation. And then what I can see from the chart, and I think is a little bit of prediction, I think there will be a slight pullback to form the right shoulder before resuming completing the reversal chart formation. So obviously I can be wrong lah. I mean, some head and shoulders, they don't form the right shoulder. They just all the way up. And some, right, after they complete the head formation, right, and then they don't complete the right shoulder. They just plateau off and just consolidate for like a few months, even up to years. So this head and shoulders is like if the economy really continue to pump back up, then obviously we will see the completion of this reversal lah. Okay, so this is the weekly one. Let me show the other one, which is, yeah, okay. So the red line is the 200-day moving average. And you can see the green line, right, is the 50-day moving average. So normally for traders, right, that follow trend, they will wait for the green line to cut the red line, which will confirm for them that it is going back to an uptrend. So they will look to get into the stock or the market once again, and then ride the maybe 6 months to 1 year kind of uptrend. Yeah, so I mean, as usual, right? These are technical analysis. Some people call it astrology, but
Voodoo.
It may or may not work, but this is probably what the TA people are looking at lah. It's a pretty strong reversal, I got to say. Okay, so all right, I'm done.
So at this strong reversal, are you planning any trades around it, or are you just staying out on China totally?
I have my money stuck in Tesla, and then like I shared previously, right? This year I'm trying to save up to prepare for like my next property move. So unless you tell me that Baba like crashed down to $60 again, then in which case I have no choice but to put in a little bit lah.
But that's price anchoring though. That's a bit dangerous. But okay,
but if you look at the Baba chart, right, since their IPO, right, they had like I think 2 other instances pretty near to their IPO where they dipped to about $60 thereabouts. So even the party congress that dip, right, so-called capitulation, it actually didn't went all the way down to those 2 double bottom, which was like I think in 2014 or 2015. So it didn't actually get down to that, no. Then the value investor already all chong out already. So they like, wow, don't let it get there. Just go in.
But then let's say if it dropped to $60, right? The chart pattern is not inverse head and shoulder. It's not as falling knife already. Falling knife pattern. Then you also won't buy, right?
No, that one is like a all-time low lah. So if you want, get in a little bit lah. I mean, for me, I see the risk versus reward ma. Like what we know, Alibaba is not going to disappear. They still have quite a lot of strong businesses.
First time.
Yeah.
Then it's not
First time.
trading already, right? Because now it become like a value investing already.
Wait,
so
actually,
are we
sorry.
switching back and forth
Wait,
between different?
wait. It's not my first time in Baba. I actually bought it last time.
No. As in the first time that the company go missing in China.
Ah, okay, go miss.
But yeah,
Yeah.
as in I think
Betting
at least
fun.
personally for me, for technicals, I don't really take I don't take reference from it lah. So I buy because I want to own the company, not because the company is hitting a particular resistance or whatever.
I think for technicals, right? Basically you want to make a long-term decision based on like your business fundamental analysis. But for short-term wise, right? Like those traders, you're not looking at it, but they are looking at it. And there's quite a significant number of them looking at it. Then you will see like the chart reflecting, because that's where the herd is going. But of course, long term, like what you say, the business fundamentals will win out lah, no matter what.
I agree. As in, I agree that to a certain extent, technical analysis do work, and it has been working for some time. But I just don't use it in my own investing style lah, because I feel like it will get messy and I wouldn't know what to do. So, for example, Alibaba has been a falling knife. I shouldn't be invested in that stock, but the other part of me keeps telling me to buy. But that's a story for another day. I think I'll pass the time over to Kelvin. When's your next China stock update video? I think you made a video before on Alibaba. So will we have an update again?
Not sure then. But let me just show my screen.
Oh, you also got chart, is it?
Yeah, just pretending to
Okay,
know how to
nice.
read.
来了。
This is the master.
No lah. So right, it was in this downward trend previously since 2020. Wow, such a long time. But recently it has hit
First
a
time?
bottom. Yeah, I think Tesla will be in this channel soon. I think it's already in this channel for Tesla. But for Baba, it has already hit a bottom in 60 and a new uptrend channel is forming up. Though, let me see. Okay, so right, this is the RSI, the bottom indicator. RSI. The RSI is heading up. The purple line is heading up the upper part of the RSI, which means that it's getting overbought soon. And the other one is MACD. MACD means that so the blue line is showing a strong upwards trend, which means that a new bull trend is starting already. But since the RSI is showing that it's getting overbought soon, it will hit around 125. I got my prediction, it will hit around 125. Yeah, around 125, where there's a strong resistance around there, because it hit around 2022 around here and around 2016. So it will bounce around 125 or around 120 lah. Then it will come back down a bit. So a bit similar to what Eric analysis is lah.
Wow, TA coincide leh.
So, but long term wise, I still can't see any good news boosting it further upwards lah. Because right now there's this whole economy thing going on. China economy isn't that strong anyway for now. So I don't think Baba will continue going up. Maybe it might just like trade sideways for now lah. That's what I think. But I would say that this downtrend is most likely over already. So we are likely in a sideways market or either up.
What about Bunti? I know Bunti, you have Meituan and Tencent in your portfolio. You haven't been adding to them. I don't know why, but yeah, your perspective.
Yeah, I think just now good sharing from Eric and Kelvin on the TA side. I just want to say the reason I also same as you, Chicken, I don't pay too much attention is because if you look at the trend and you think the trend is right, you want to get in, you get in now. But if the trend reverse, you have to get out now. You cannot get in because of TA, then don't want to get out when TA say you should get out. So I think need to be consistent when it comes to the strategy, like what Adam shared with us, right? Actually, TA can make money, value investing can make money. You have to stay consistent on it. But for me, I would say, yes, there's a bit of like, not a bit, I think a lot of optimism coming from the reopening. So I think people are betting that this reopening will stay and then economy will turn for the better. But for me, is that I'm not that, how to say, optimist because of this. Because actually, it's not just China is reopening. Actually, the whole world already opened like 1 year before. So I will actually pay more attention to those, because those is like already entering a stable state. Whereas for China, you get in with this type of short-term optimism. Let's say if it reverse, right, then what should I do? So I think let's have a monitor the situations, not like very eagerly to join this short-term optimism.
I think maybe I'll just share a little bit of what I think. So I've been in this bear market for 2 years. I think I entered at end of 2020. I entered Alibaba, I think 230-ish. And then it bounced back and then it started going down. And yeah, has been catching the falling knife for quite some time. Bunti just typed in the Zoom chat first time. Yeah, as in for those of you who just came into the markets after 2020, it's probably your first time seeing a bear market. So when 2022 came, actually I wasn't very phased. Number one, because most of my portfolio is already in the red, like really, really red. So it doesn't really affected me, even if the US market was going down. But I think it's a long awaited rally. A lot of back holders have been holding the stock for at least 1 year or so. And people just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. It feels a little bit like the US market in 2022 as well. So everybody was optimistic, right? Wow, midterm rally, midterm election rally, wow, Christmas rally, whatever terms they can use, they just throw out and say that there's hope, then the market keep making lows. So I think for China specifically, I'm playing by a different set of rules, because I'm not intending for like a 20% increase. Wow, I up 20% from cost, I faster sell away. I mean, that's not my perspective when I enter into these names. So when you talk about like all this China reopening, COVID measures, the government stimulating, it was already part of the plan. Like it was part of my projection that they're going to open up, but I just don't know when and I don't know how long they're going to take. So at least for now, they're trying to price in this reopening. But to me, if I'm going to look up into the decade, it doesn't matter whether they open now or open in 2025. That's the first part. Second part, I think the more concerning part is more on business fundamentals, because many of these big names have a lot of pressure based on their earnings. So in case you didn't know, I think China is still pretty capitalistic. Competition is still quite hot. So I think ByteDance recently in the tech space, it's quite a formidable opponent. So it has been sucking a lot of advertising revenues, sucking a lot of screen time and stuff like that. So I'm much more concerned about that rather than all this Xi Jinping gonna do what nonsense lah, what loyalists, all this, because to me all these are narrative, but numbers don't lie. So I prefer to look at numbers. Then I think the last part I wanted to comment also is recently also the videos keep blowing up, right? About like, oh, is this a good time to buy Alibaba, or is this a good time to buy Tencent? And a lot of people asking in group chats, oh, China can buy or not? I think my bottom line is this, if you're asking that question, then cannot buy. Like if you want to buy or not buy, it's an individual decision. You don't need other people's comments or other people's opinions and then, hey, can buy, oh, your friends all buy together, then you go and buy. I think that's quite a stupid decision-making framework. Like, to be very frank, I know I use very harsh words here, but I think it's pretty weird that just because somebody on internet or your friends say can buy, that's how you buy. So when you're asking the question, I'll give you the conclusion now, cannot buy. But if you are fundamentally doing like analysis on the company or the industry and you want exposure in Chinese tech and you want to buy into KWeb or buy into specific names, then do your analysis first, then you take reference from other people's opinions. Don't start off with, hey, Chiging say can buy, but I already have been saying can buy since what, 2021? So you want to follow me? Have you been following me? You haven't, right? So why now then you follow me? I'm just providing some perspective on that. So yeah, this is just my 3 major comments on whether China can buy or not.
I think they just want confirmation. It's like they see the stock price starting to turn finally and sustain the turn instead of like a short bounce and then immediately sold down.
So what happens if Xi Jinping says something again and then he say he gonna go crack down 2.0 and then the stock price just plunge again?
And that's when he go to your channel and type those comments.
Not wrong.
He ask you first. Ask you first. Then you say, he can buy, can buy. They say, really? Yeah. Then he buy. And then the Xi Jinping say something, the stock drop, he go to your channel, scold you. Then the
First
cycle
time? I mean, not wrong lah. That's why to me the comments don't really faze me as much now. Last time I truth be told, I was quite fazed by it. Like I think I didn't look at my comment section for a good few months. But I think from this perspective, right, at the end of the day, you take responsibility for your own actions. And if you want to consult other people, it's good to listen to their own opinions, but you should have your own one first before you consult. So same thing when you look at like Kelvin's video on CPF. So if you don't have the mentality of contributing in the first place, you can listen to what Kelvin has to say, and then you make your analysis yourself. Don't go in, say Kelvin says CPF is good, then CPF good already 10 years, then you come and scold Kelvin. A bit, you made the decision, right, to top up yourself. So if the money is stuck and next time you need the money, then don't blame people. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Actually, if you think about it, why people behave such way is also because there's this mindset of want to outsource the liability. I think this one, not many people pay attention to this because it sounds a bit abstract for most people. Because for example, what we want to see is that, let's say something bad happened, whose fault is that? So for those who are working, you can just observe, right? There are people who look at some problem is like always someone else's fault. Or let's say if you prepare your own accounting and then you still want to get an audit, right? Because why? Because you cannot say your accounting is good. You need to find someone else to look at the numbers and then audit and then pass it. Then you say, okay, actually the liability is with the auditor. Auditor say can, I prepare like this, auditor say can. So this one is not really like asking the auditor help you prepare. They cannot help you prepare. They come in, they see, and then you outsource that liability to them. So that's what they try to do on a the mentality is the same. For example, Tesla FSD is the same. Where's the liability sit? So why they call it level 2 and not level 4 or level 5? The liability is one big component there, because if the liability sits with the driver, they say, oh, you cannot release your hand from the steering wheel. If something happened, you cannot blame the FSD. So you need to pay attention on where the liability sits. For people, when they invest, what they want to do is that it's okay for me to earn money, but when I'm wrong, I'm not wrong. It has to be chicken's wrong. That stupid fella, I could follow him on Baba. So it's like outsource that so that they feel good on themselves, So not a good decision making. It's just that people tend to do that a lot in various forms. Yeah, that's my own observation.
I think like we are just very social creatures. Everything we like to consult others, like, hey, you got to do this. Like, my son recently went to P1, right? So there's this parent that did up like a chat group. They put all the parents of all the kids in the class in, and then they like every day they will just type like, hey, what's this? Do you have to bring that? Do you have to do this? Do you have to bring thermometer? Is tomorrow photo taking? Need to like gel the hair and all those things. So people are like, I think this investing thing, right, is become like just asking around like, hey, you got any tips or not? Any lobang, how to get the cheapest? Where do you buy this thing? Like basically they're just asking around for help, because maybe they are not as savvy as Chiking, right? Like can read all the financial, all the numbers. Like you say, you based on numbers, right? But some people, they look at the financial statement, they're like, what kind of astrology is this? They have no idea.
Then they shouldn't be investing, or like, at least they shouldn't be picking companies.
Yeah lah. I mean, you obviously, because right? Then you can say that but they still want they see the excitement. They're like, wow, this one 很好玩 like a roller coaster but they only see the 好玩 side, right? They never see the people puking at the side. Yeah, so they want to
been puking for the last 2 years, but yeah. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so they want someone to guide them, like a mentor. That's why you have like people like Meet Kevin, right? The US person. He actually sells course like to guide people how to invest. Even though last time he used to do real estate, but he sells course, and there's I think a lot of people that buy. I think same thing with Adam's courses, right? People are too busy, but they still want to achieve the alpha, the outperformance. So they kind of outsource, rely on somebody, and they pay them for the course. Say, okay, you do the hard work for me, then I pay you lah. But for YouTube, it's like sort of like you are P or T, right? You give free advice, you do the hard work, but I don't pay you. I pay you with my views. I click that like button for you.
It's not worth a lot
Yeah.
in the greater scheme of things, but
Yeah.
but want to take Kelvin's perspective. Do you have
I
anything?
have a question to ask Jiking. So this was the same question that I asked Darren a while ago. Since all of us we are more or less recommending stocks lah, even though we say we don't recommend stocks, but we recommend it like by talking about the stocks lah, we give exposure to the stocks. So like my question is like, if let's say Alibaba starts turning around and it maybe goes to zero, right? Do you actually feel responsible for talking about this stock? Like, okay, we can say that we are not responsible, right? It's the same for me about hold or not. So I can say that, okay, oh, this is your money. I didn't force you to put money into hold or not, but because of my analysis, right, they follow me, and I feel that I'm partly to blame for giving exposure to this kind of platform lah. So for you, do you feel responsible for the losses when people eventually lose money with Alibaba?
I think that's a great question actually, because it actually goes into the realm of ethics, right? Like, so how you draw the line, like how far responsible you are, and how do you attribute the blame, right? And when things are good, nobody cares, right? Like everybody earning money. Wow, crypto, I stake 20% every month. I get the money into my bank. Nobody talks about it. But only when basically shit hits the fan, then people start to say, or like basically like FTX or like the 08 crisis when Lehman goes under, then everybody start to sit down. Oh, how many percentage of blame you should get? Who should go to jail, etc. I think here's the issue, right? I pondered on this question before, which was also why when I being transparent versus not being transparent, that was a question I was asking myself as well. Because I know if I'm transparent, which I am now, I've been showing my portfolio update on a regular basis, people are gonna copy. So they're gonna say that, oh, Chiking has X stock, so X stock must be good. He did his due diligence before. Actually, this is a common trait. It's called cloning. A lot of people say, okay, Charlie Munger bought into Alibaba. He did the due diligence for me, so I will buy into Alibaba without knowing the business. A lot of people had that same perspective. So then, will you blame Charlie Munger for buying into Alibaba when Alibaba has been crashing for 2 years? They won't, right? Because Munger didn't promote. So here comes the problem to us as finfluencers. We got promote or we got make videos about the content. To me, to say that you are not responsible, I think it's also a lie. To a certain extent, we are talking about a particular stock. Whether we keep saying that it's not financial advice, please do your own due diligence, all the disclaimer, right? People will be convinced. So like people look at Kelvin's face, wow, this guy very believable. So I will buy Tesla also. I'm not gonna lie, confirm got people like that. And I'm also not gonna lie, confirm got people buy into Alibaba because of me. But I think the issue is, at least for now, luckily Tesla and Alibaba are still standing. Like they haven't go under yet. And I don't think they're going to go under because they are multi-billion-dollar businesses. But if we go back to the question on how responsible we are, I can still protect myself and say that I honestly didn't tell you to buy. Like I didn't give you financial advice to tell you to add into a portfolio. But I do agree that I've been pumping the stock in a way, like quote unquote pumping the stock and saying that, wow, this stock is the best. It's not the best business, but it's a decent buy as an investment vehicle. How do I safeguard it? I really can't, because I don't control who views the video. I don't control how the algorithm picks up the video. So then I made a conscious decision the other time that I bought into Chinese banks. So we know that the real estate market is very, 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 it's in a chaos. And I deem that there's value there. So I bought into Chinese banks. Then a lot of people in my comments keep asking me, hey, what bank leh? What's the ticker code? Can review or not? So that's why I just lump the whole thing as Chinese banks. Like I don't give you ticker symbol. You don't know which bank I bought. And there is like more than 10 listed banks in China that
That's
are
the
state-owned.
transparency.
So that's why I show you the Chinese bank position, but I don't show you where is the. So of course people can say that I'm lying. And then like, oh, they don't believe that I bought into the position. So that's why I sometimes think that having a paywall or trying to trying to filter people out would be better. Because when you do it all for free, right, and you get all this nonsense. So when I do the filtering, I think people knows that, like, let's say they're willing to pay, I don't know, like what does Meet Kevin even do? I think like, I don't know, 20, 50, $100 a month. Those people that have the ability to go into the premium membership, they are of a certain standing, like they have a certain financial wealth. So I will presume that they are more discerning in terms of their thoughts. Means that they can discern, this is not financial advice and I'm making my own decision. Compared to random people that, wow, saw your thumbnail, very interesting. They click in already. Kelvin said Tesla can buy. I'm all in Tesla. I mean, that's the filtering process, at least from my thought. So I hope I answer. It's a very long answer because I don't think I have a question.
I just want to add on. I from my experience, this filtering didn't work. Because I know another finfluencer, he or she is using that lah. So when FTX, no, not FTX, when Luna collapsed, she was recommending, he or she was recommending it.
So it's a she lah.
He or she lah.
Okay.
He was recommending in his paid Patreon thing or whatever lah. So people will still blame them whatever happens lah. And when people pay you, right, they will expect to make money. They might even make it worse lah. So that's how all those wealth guru get their hate from. Since I'm paying for your $3,000 course, you're not helping me making money. I'm making me lose more money. So I suspect that might backfire also if not done correctly. But for me, I think about Tesla thing, my conclusion was, if you want to follow, right, all your situation must be exactly the same as mine. First is you must have the same risk tolerance. You must have money to lose. You must get in and get out at the same time as me. You must do options at the same time as me. So if you just do one thing and not do all the rest, right, then I think that's on you already lah. So that's how I came to this conclusion.
But the finfluencer is not transparent, right? Like you don't show your options trade every single day, right? So how I follow you all the way?
That's the other thing also. I'm because right now my options, even though it's making money, right, I'm very sure if I review it, right, people will start following my every trade. So I don't care to show it even though it's making money now, because like our option is just, obviously I'm not experienced enough to lead people, to coach people lah. So when people want to follow, I can't let them follow me lah.
Actually, that's the same thoughts for me. I know this Chinese bank investment is a very risky one because Citibank went from $200 to $1 during the Great Financial Crisis. Even though I know I did my due diligence, I understand a little bit more, and I know I'm buying at dirt cheap valuations, but it doesn't stop them from going down 90% again. So I just told people that I have Chinese banks in the portfolio. I kept the percentage. That's how I minimize my risk. But I don't encourage people to follow me into the investment itself. So that's why. So here comes the problem again, right? Then people say, "Oh, you're not transparent. Why you never show everything and let people track?" It's always a trade-off, and I don't think there's a easy answer to this problem.
I think the question should be, you ask them, why should I be transparent? Like, I'm just making this video as a informative, like entertaining kind of video to give you a head start, like, okay, this is where you can look into and all that. Why should I show you my personal portfolio? Like what Kelvin said, you don't have the exact same situation as me. Remember last time I ever did make a video about retiring with Tesla shares, right? And then there's someone who commented like, oh, what if someone look at your video and buy, you know, this amount with all the retirement money, and you only have 7 years more. By 2030, you need to take out all this money for retirement. They all in there. Then how are you going to be responsible for this? Then I'm like, in the first place, I made the video as a response to Ken's video, because Ken made 2 videos on retiring with Tesla. So I reviewed his video and added on some living expenses on different places, Phuket, Bali, and all this. And I say, okay, how much you need to live here and there. So I'm like, okay, so there's just a reaction video, and then you look at the reaction video, you went all in, like supposedly, with all your retirement money. So I'm like, I'm a bit flabbergasted. I said, why do you go all in? Like, he's asking me how confident am I that Tesla would be $5,000 by 2030. I'm like, how would I know, right? That video is just like a reaction video, and I never advise anyone to buy or go all in so that they can retire, confirm retire. If I know that, I won't be making this video already, right? I will whack and I retire myself. Why? Like we don't know any better, seriously. And this is all for entertainment. And yeah, I always advocate, right, that we should allocate efficiently. We cannot all into equities and all this. But people always ignore that piece of the financial planning, and they always like want to throw the thing, like what Bunti say, right? Throw the responsibility to someone or something that caused them to make this mistake. Like the influencer is a scammer and all these things. So I don't know, like there's like, it's human nature, I guess. Human nature. You buy a bad apple, we also say the hawker anyhow sell.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. I think on the stock pumping things, right? I think it's very hard for us, right? If we say you cannot even mention the company, then I mean it basically take out like huge proportion of the content. Like you cannot talk about Tesla, cannot talk about Apple, cannot talk about Alibaba, cannot talk about C. Then what's the point of like giving this kind, making this kind of contents, right? But I think one thing that we can do in a more balanced way is that don't just talk about the good. Sometimes it's worth to talk about the bad stuff, the risks, so that at least people are aware.
Bunti cannot. People ask you, can you be positive? Can you stop talking about the bad stuff? Only
But I think
positive.
even if you talk about the negative, people will still selective listen, right? Like they just filter themselves what kind of information they want to listen to.
That's true. That one we cannot control, but at least we communicate the negative or the risk, so that make the entire things more balanced. Which is balance coming from the same person. It's like for chicken, at least you tell me like, okay, you are so bullish about Alibaba. What are the one or two things that might be concerning to you? Maybe share with us, right? So that we can have a more balanced like view in terms of your opinion. Yeah.
If they are bullish about the stock, right, however bad news you tell them, they can actually spin it around. Like recently Tesla China cut the car price, right?
To stir more demand.
Then obviously when you cut car prices, the margin will fall. Then when I see those Tesla bulls, right, wow, Tesla cut car price, the demand will go up. Then they show all the Tesla China, the car. Everyone is queuing up at the store to buy the car. Like, oh, demand's going up. Tesla is going back up again. So sometimes they'll just see the good part about it. Even if you tell them the bad part, right, they just cancel it out, ignore it, and say, oh, Tesla will surely go to the moon. So
I don't know. I think, yeah, that's true. People always tend to do this kind of things. It's like some may even say, oh, they cut prices because they started out from high margin. Now they can afford to cut it. I mean, it can be framed either way. But doesn't mean that for us who is like talking about stocks, that because we say people don't want to listen, that's why we don't talk about it at all. Like when talk about Tesla, talk about Alibaba, it's all good, right? I think that one is also a bit like too extreme now. Yeah, sometimes good to be more balanced, but I know that this is not good for content creation perspective, because the moment you give conflicting information, then people will say that, oh, this guy don't know what he's talking about again.
Or he will say like never say.
Yes,
like you'll say that, oh, I thought the good, I thought the bad. Then you don't make a conclusion, right? So for example, if you really want to stay neutral, so you don't make a conclusion, you just tell them, oh, okay, I present to you already. You all make your own decision.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, then I watch for you for what? Or like,
they cannot offload the liability to you already.
Not many people actually know. Last time I worked for a few years as a stockbroker. So people like to ask me for advice. Hey, any tips? Like, want to buy what stock? And then so I'll tell them, oh, can look at all these. I give them like 10多20个 stocks take a look. Then they're like, wow, give me one I want to buy. Then I say, all these are very good. Then after that, got one auntie, she fed up already. She bring one stock to me that she researched herself. Like, good for her. Then she came to me and say, Eric, this one can buy or not? Then I say, okay, let me see. Then I go and research. Then I go back to her. I say, auntie, this one good. This good. Then the bet is like that. Okay, so these are the pros and cons. Do what you want to do. Then she looked at me like, yeah, don't say so much. Just tell me can buy or not. Then I'll be like, if it was me, I won't buy. Then she looked at me like, sir, you're gonna go out of business, man. Which I did because
She's like, waste of time.
yeah, because she said I was like too honest. Like she feels that it's not a good thing for a stockbroker to be like, I'm not saying
Yeah.
stockbrokers are dishonest, but a lot of times because our commissions is tied to their trades, so a lot of people will say got buy got hope, no buy no hope, those kind of thing like
This
just
one not gambling.
yeah, just try lor. Like it looks like a good analysis, something like that. Then the auntie was like, oh, okay. So what I learned from that episode is like people are looking for the quick and easy way Like you tell me what to do and I
Yeah.
just do it.
She just want the last push from you.
Yeah, but I refuse to push.
That's
why
why our business.
our business, yes, true. That's why I couldn't make it.
One thing I wanted to comment as well is if you want to offload the liability to influencers, whether is it Calvin, me, or whoever, or this backholder podcast, then I recommend that you all offload your assets as well when we are right. So we will put our PayNow link at the bottom so you can send us if, or at least for myself, for those of you who made money already, you all can PayNow me. No, just joking. But I just thought that it was a very unfair equation that only the bad stuff we get and then we don't enjoy the good stuff. So I think just some perspectives as well. So I think just to pivot over to the last discussion point for today, for 2023, one stock maybe you would want to add and one stock you might want to remove from your portfolio. Maybe you can get Calvin to start.
Okay,
Don't
not
talk
stock
about the
tips,
company with that starts with T. I think very sensitive.
Wait. Assuming I
Assume
start from
what?
zero.
Okay.
Assuming I start from zero,
Okay.
I would definitely go with Tesla again. Assuming my portfolio is not heavy into Tesla, I will go into Tesla. With the reason being Tesla is way, way cheap now. My fair price for Tesla was $130. It's way below that. I think it was at 120 as of yesterday. This recession, the whole reason Tesla went down was because of this recession, demand falling off, high interest rate, whatever. And guess what happened if all this is over? Will it go back up? I would think so. So, and the effect of this recession is, I feel, is much less on Tesla compared to other car makers. So yes, I would still think that Tesla is a car maker, but the effect on Tesla is much less because they have higher margin, they have higher demand compared to other car makers. So in a way, right, this recession is sort of beneficial to Tesla in the sense that it pushed the competition off a bit more. So Tesla is leading by a bit more. It also forces them to make budget cars, which I'm suspecting they are coming out with it within 1 or 2 years to fight with the demand. So without this whole recession, right, Tesla wouldn't continue to, there's no urgency to make the budget cars. And so yes, I'll still go with Tesla if my portfolio isn't so heavy into Tesla now.
Hey, wait, you haven't
what
said
about stock?
the stock that you want to get rid of.
The stock that I want to get rid of, I've actually gotten rid of. Okay, maybe I've gotten rid of all the stock that I wanted to get rid of. Maybe the worst performing stock right now is maybe Square. I will admit I didn't have any idea what I was getting into when buying that stock. But right now I'm
who
still
pushed Square to you?
I
Who was the
maybe some-
influencer?
I think it's Tom Nash. Tom Nash.
I still don't know.
KP Wood.
That's my idiotic guy person. That would be the worst one. So I would get rid of it if I was to stop selling options on it. Right now I'm just selling on it to reduce the cost basis. The premium on it is quite good actually. Yeah, so that was the Square. I would get rid of it lah, eventually.
Please don't follow like don't follow just because Kevin say option premium is good. That's why you buy into Square. Thanks. Next to Eric.
Okay, I think for me, my US port, I can't really touch C Limited because that it belongs to my wife. So she wants to keep it until it comes back to its all-time high. So I'll let her keep it. Tesla
What
wise,
if it goes bankrupt?
then that's her
Okay.
money anyway.
Okay.
So I'll leave it to her to decide lah. But for Tesla wise, right, mostly it's me lah. Mostly it's on me. I came out with most of the capital in the first place. So like what Kelvin said, I feel that this recession is like actually accelerating the transition and accelerating Tesla's plan to go into the real mass market. So now they're still in like the premium level, which I think is not that ideal lah. But I can see that they were milking it for what it's worth lah. Like all the easy money. So they say like every time they ask about the 30,000 compact car, they're like, well, okay, we'll see. So now they have no choice. BYD is like pushing them, so they have to do it lah. So I think Tesla, I would add if it gets to a sufficiently stupid price. Like if it's like below, maybe I don't know, below 100, maybe below
$20.
Wow, $20 cannot lah. $20, I think I will really sell already lah.
Reconsider.
Paper hand.
Paper hand.
$20 then I will sell because it value crush 99%.
First time?
No, it's my second time.
Oh.
The first one was 9天. I don't know whether I told you this before. 9天,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Wow, from what? $1-2 went to like 0.1 cent or something. Okay, so that was the great financial crisis. The one that I want to get rid of from my portfolio is in my Singapore port. The Maple Tree, the one that they combine together. Because when I bought it, right, it was the Maple Tree Commercial Trust, the one that has the Vivo City and all that. So I wanted exposure to that only. Then they go and combine with don't know what the Hong Kong one. Then
The
I'm
North
like,
Asia
"What?"
Commercial Trust.
It's like, hiya, I don't want that. They combine it, the price dropped like a rock. They're like, hiya, don't want. So I'm just waiting for it to like pay me all the dividends until I break even. I sure sell it. Yeah, so that's the one that I want to get rid of it.
Actually, why not throw it first, like now, then redeploy the capital?
No lah, I need to collect the dividend ma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bunti?
I will have one pick, which I think is a tech company. As you guys know, my portfolio is still heavy on tech, right? But there's one tech that is not as often mentioned by people, which is Microsoft. So Microsoft, I think, is quite interesting. Like, you know, it is as a business, it's quite solid. So they are very diversified in terms of what are the business line. The thing that's caught my attention recently is the OpenAI acquisitions. So I think this, I don't know whether for the viewers, right? I hope that most people already heard about this ChatGPT. So essentially, it's an AI assistant. It's like a chatbot you can chat with. It's quite interesting because they plan to embed this ChatGPT model into their current products, meaning like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Outlook. So I think their plan is over the next few years, they will incorporate this GPT or OpenAI stuff into their offering. And I think they can monetize it well because this entire GPT thing will actually increase the productivity of everyone who are using all this software. So I think that's quite interesting because I think this catalyst can last for years ahead. So I think that's something that's caught my attention. A similar kind of, you know, this type of like catalyst things, like for example, like Apple, I think a few years back when they announced the M1 chip, I also very bullish on it. So that's something that I think can ride it out for a couple of years one. And I think for OpenAI, this is something that I think they can ride on it for a couple of years. So that's why my pick is Microsoft. In terms of which one to get rid of, I don't have none. So let's keep it there.
Even all the unprofitable tech companies you still want to keep?
I think not many companies that's unprofitable in my portfolio. There's some, for example, I've one that's Snowflake. I think that one is unprofitable, but I think that they are going to make it, So I'm keeping that. Then the rest, for example, like Salesforce, I think they are close to break even on the operating margin part. I think as a business, they are very strong. There's no companies that get into Salesforce using Salesforce and then get out of it. So it's very hard. I think you talk to those who make sales, right? Like salesmen, right? Like, if you are using Salesforce, can you get rid of it? I think the answer is clear no. So there are businesses that, even though they are not showing profitability as of now, but in terms of their future, there's no doubt on it. So I'll put that into that category. I'll keep them. But whether to buy more or not, that's a different story. Yeah. By the way, those are very small position.
Yeah. I think for me, companies that I want to add, there's quite a few. But if the biggest basket is FANG stocks, your FANG M stocks. I'm particularly interested in the three that I already hold. Even though the three is still quite a small position. I think each is less than 1% or so. I currently have Meta, I have Google, I have Amazon. So these three, in particular, that I'm more interested in compared to Apple and Microsoft. I think it's more on a valuation thing lah. So if Apple and Microsoft do come down, I will. I would even hesitate to add Nasdaq or something, like to gain exposure into all those companies. Then I think for Tesla specifically, I'm in the midst of doing my research, so it's not that easy. It's a pretty hard company to understand. Not the automobile part, it's the energy part that's hard to understand. So now seems like the car business not exciting already. Everybody say energy is the future, bro.
No.
Then I'm like, how come the story changed so fast? Yeah, I thought we were talking about robotaxi, then suddenly become energy. But
energy is non-existent,
Just confuse the people, confuse them.
I mean, that's why I'm in due process lah to understand the business. So I wouldn't dip my toes, not even a starter position, because I don't really know what the heck is going on. And valuations haven't come down to my liking yet lah. I mean, yeah, sure, a lot of people are gonna say that, oh, Chicken is trying to time the market. I'm an active investor, bro. If I don't time the market, what am I doing? Like, I should be passively investing, right? So yeah, I'm timing the market. I'm not embarrassed to say that. And
But when you talk about valuation, when you say you haven't understood the company, like what valuation are you talking about?
the car company, as a
Like-
car company.
So you're only ascribing value to the part that you understand.
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
And-
okay.
and-
That's so low lah.
No lah. I mean, I'm probably more conservative because I'm not sold on the story. Like, even if you have a projection of 10M, I don't think Tesla's gonna hit 10M. For those Tesla bulls that want to flame me, please go ahead. I'm immune already, but I mean, at least my projection wise, it's around 5 to 7 within the next 7 years. So I'm just being more conservative. It's not that I don't believe in the story. I just want to give myself more margin of safety. So I think there's more room to fall. And likewise for many of the big tech companies, it's the same. Like, I think that there's more room to fall. So I'm slowly accumulating. Then for one that I want to remove from my portfolio is actually the Chinese banks. So the banks is a recovery play. If it does recover in valuations, and it has already recovered, I think I'm up on average around 8 to 10% on each counter. It's not a lot, but to me, I bought into the banks in the first place was to stabilize the portfolio, because my portfolio was like up, down, like nobody's business. Can go 40%, then up 10%, then down 40% again in 2022.
I thought you don't like to hedge your portfolio.
This is not hedging, ma. This is just, I see value, I buy law. You get what I mean? I'm not, in a way, I'm not hedging in any sense, because if I'm hedging, I should buy bonds instead, or buy more unrelated asset classes, because they're still under equities, ma. Like, all of them are still under the same asset class,
Like, should
even
be
though they are different industry.
negatively related, right?
But they're still in China, right? So they're not negatively. So that's why I said, in a way, I just saw value in the Chinese banks. That's why I bought. Like, then I talked to Bunti about it, and then Bunti was convincing me otherwise, to ask me to read up a lot of the historical literatures about banks collapsing and what happens in restructuring and what happens to Citibank and stuff like that. So it's kind of a red flag to me, where I don't really understand what's going on. But actually, one of my thesis is they won't go bust lah. Like, the Chinese government's gonna bail them out. So in that case, there was conflicting ideas, and I'm still not really sure on what I'm gonna do with the position. But yeah, I might exit it, I might not. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm just confused about your adding banks to stabilize portfolio part. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to stabilize.
It did low. So I added, when did I add the banks? Let me check. I added them in November because they were at historical low valuations. So then I realized that because banks usually, I mean, if you look at the other economies like US, Singapore, they're all more stable. Then I realized then in China actually it's a shithole. Like it's a black box. Nobody know what the heck is going on.
Actually, I think banks, right? I don't think you consider them stable, but they're more like
Cyclical.
kind of.
But they are now in a down cycle, ma. So I mean, my perspective is they're in a down cycle. I don't know. Maybe the markets can teach me a lesson that maybe they're not in a down cycle.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit confused. Like if you buying banks to stabilize, right? You never know when they're gonna plunge or shoot up. So it's like it doesn't achieve the stability. People buy like maybe bonds to stabilize the portfolio, but you buy
Because I'm
banks.
currently timing the cycle, ma. So I'm timing that it's on the lows of the cycle. That's why
Tesla also very low, leh. But anyway.
But I don't understand, ma. Banks easier to understand. But
Okay.
yeah, that's it. So I should stand corrected. I shouldn't use the word stabilizing. I should just say I'm diversifying.
Diversify,
but
yeah.
It's not really diversified as well, because it's still the same geography. It's under the same man that moves the whole market. So yeah, but I guess it's a
Diversify
different
from tech.
Yeah, diversify from tech. But I'm going back tech, but US tech in this case. I will want to go into US tech if the time or opportunity comes. So yeah, that's that. I think that's all for the discussion. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed episode 12, the discussion. So next week we have a special guest with us. Since we have been talking extensively about stock picking, about constructing our own portfolio, I think next week's guest, you guys will be extremely excited as he will tear down all of our beliefs and our philosophy. So hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.